Hey you guys. So I've been receiving several questions lately in my inbox concerning the incident that happened between me and Prep of the South around March of last year. And since I feel that sending anonymous hate is just another form of cyberbullying, I think that this issue really hits home for me, and I wanted to come up close and personal instead of just hiding behind a text post and really tell you guys in its entirety what happened. So, um, I started my blog in December of last year, and one thing that really helped me in the beginning is that I asked a lot of other blogs to promote me or reblog for me in spirit of the holiday season. And one of these people was Prep of the South, and I really looked up to her before even starting my blog. I thought she was gorgeous, she had awesome advice, beautiful like clothes and style, she had tons of followers, and she was just overall a really cool person. And so I guess that's what really began our friendship. And over time, we like followed each other on our personal Instagram accounts. And one day, she commented on one of my photos with her number, saying, "Hey, text me. I really need your help. It's something important." And so automatically, I grabbed up my phone and um, I like texted her and I was like, "What's going on? Like, what happened?" And she said, "Hey, I'm deleting my Tumblr. Can you like let other blogs know? Can you make a text post explaining why I'm deleting my blog and just get other users to reblog it from you so that everybody's informed?" And I was like, "Of course." So then my follower count started to pick up, and then I also started receiving a lot of hate in my inbox, anonymous hate, and it was like, "You're ugly, your outfit of the days are gross, you're so fake, you're a wannabe, and then you're probably the most hated person on Tumblr." And since I was really frustrated with this and I was really annoyed, I started getting a lot of old feelings again. A lot of old feelings started to come up. So when I was in 6th grade, I had a best friend, and she posted lots of MySpace bulletins titled something along the lines of like ching chong or bowl of rice, and then inside the actual post itself it would have a description of the person that she hated the most, and apparently it was one of her friends who was Asian, and I being her only Asian friend, um, I was really confused, and I was like, is she talking about me? And then it became more and more apparent when I was ignored in the hallway by our mutual friends, and especially by her. Whenever I tried to come up and talk to her, she would ignore me. And then I had this thing called Form Spring, which is pretty much like an Ask FM, that people started sending anonymous hate on, saying, "You're a whore. You don't deserve anything that you have. You don't deserve to live." And so being a 12-year-old at the time, I was really meek. I was really afraid. I only had one real friend that I thought was a real friend. And I didn't know what to do because I read in an article once that the worst part about anonymous hate is that it's not read in the voice of the person who sent it to you, but actually in your own voice. And that is so true. Like, all these voices were in my head, and I started believing them. So I was really confused, you know? I was a scared 12-year-old little girl, and so I took it to my mom. I said, like, "Mom, what do I do?" And she's like, "You know what? We'll take this to administration. We'll fight this. We'll figure out what to do." And she left the breakfast table, and for 20 minutes she didn't come back. And I was sobbing, and I was so confused, and it was so painful because every time I logged on in MySpace, there would be a new message, a new post on my Ask FM saying how ugly I was and how much of a person, how badly of a person I was, or how bad of a person I was. And I kept reading, and then I went to go look for my mom, and I walked into her bedroom, and then I heard some noises coming from the bathroom, so I walked into her bathroom, and she was sitting down on the toilet cover crying. And that was the most alone that I've ever felt in my life, because this is the person that's supposed to be there for you and know what the answer is and know what you're supposed to do, but even my mom didn't know what to do. And it even came to the point where I felt so alone that I contemplated my suicide. I wrote my parents a letter, and told them that I was going to take my life. And my parents convinced me that that was the wrong thing to do. And I was really lucky that my parents were able to devote so much attention to me over the next few months to help me realize that it wasn't my fault. Those messages weren't my fault, because if not, I probably wouldn't be here today. And so within a few months' time, I realized that the best form of retaliation would be to, instead of going back and trying to pick at them, to use their hate to fuel my passions. And so that's what really shaped me to the human I am today. That's really what formed me into the person that I am. And it might be one of the worst things that happened to me, but it's also one of the best things, because without that, I wouldn't be the same. And so back to March of last year, I started thinking, I really want to figure out who these people are. So I sought out on the internet what I should do in order to figure out who these people were. So I found this program called No Anon, which basically, when people send you messages on your Tumblr and they click anonymous, it'll still send with their name, despite the fact if they click, I want to send it as a user or anonymously. And so I caught a few people, and they acted like, I acted like they had forgotten to press the anonymous button, but I know for a fact that I installed the program. So that's what happened there. And then one day I opened my inbox and I read 4 messages from Prep of the South under the impression that she was anonymous. And one of them said, "How many followers do you have?" One was replying to another message that I had received and posted on my blog, asking, "Is the real Prep of the South back?" And then her comment was, "Of course she's back. That's the same outfit of the days. Like, you can tell by the outfit of the days." And then another one asked me what I thought about Preppy Gossip Girl. And so I was like, "Preppy Gossip Girl? I've never heard of that." So I typed it into my into the URL bar, and it came up with a blog that was devoted simply to my blog, about hate about my blog, saying, she's stupid, she is so annoying, she has the worst taste and style, and a lot of really harsh stuff. And then my 4th message in my inbox told me that you're a Prep of the South wannabe, and you don't deserve, you probably aren't really even friends with her. And I was really confused. I was like, why would anyone do that? And I didn't know how to respond. I started asking other blogs that I was friends with if I should respond and out her, because honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, because it was really scary. She was queen bee of preppy society here on Tumblr, and I was just like another lowly Tumblr blog. And so when I asked these other people, some of them said, "Yeah, definitely you should respond." And then others said, "No, you should just leave it as is." And when they said that, I was thinking, what if she does this to another blog that isn't, or another person who isn't able to handle this as well as I have because of my experiences in the past? What if another person is hurt more to the point where they can't come back from it? And I questioned myself. What would my 12-year-old self think if I didn't respond to these messages appropriately? And so that's when I decided that I should respond to these messages. In spite of the followers that I might lose, in spite of the drama that it might cause, standing up for myself and for others that have been affected by cyberbullying, I thought that it was worth it. And so it took 24 contemplation, overnight. I had asked my friends and teachers at school even. And as soon as I posted it, I was at theater practice. And she called me instantly and said, she was sobbing, and she said, "My computer is flashing black and white, someone hacked it. I didn't send those messages." But honestly, I had received those messages 24 hours in advance. And if a hacker did, in fact, hack her blog or her computer, why would they just use their hacking to post on another blog about how much they hate them, or just petty stuff? If you were a hacker, honestly, wouldn't you be going after like credit card numbers or social security numbers, not someone's well-being? Like, I was really confused, and honestly, she tried to pull the wool over my eyes, but she didn't. And as time progressed, obviously people sided on her side and on my side, but this isn't about sides. This is about standing up for yourself and knowing what you deserve and standing up against cyberbullying. Because it's just as painful as having someone push you off of the sidewalk on your way to the bus stop, except that this stays with you. The internet is a public place, and it's a permanent place. And not a lot of people realize that, especially the ones who send hate. In no way, shape, or form am I telling you that you shouldn't follow her, because I still think she has an awesome blog. She still has awesome clothes. But I am saying that you shouldn't be too trusting of who you meet over the internet. And as much as a good character that you might think you are in real life, there are a lot of people who can pretend to be something that they're not over the internet. It doesn't take a lot of courage to type in a few words that are pretty hurtful to someone anonymously, but it does take a lot of courage to stand up against these people. And I want to tell you that if you've been affected by cyberbullying, that you're not alone, and that I'm here for you. And if you want to talk someday, don't be afraid to message me, because I went through exactly what you probably went through. I felt alone. But I do know now, sitting here 6 years later at the best university that I applied to, that it gets better. And I would have never realized that if I took my life 6 years ago. You should know that you have a right to stand up for yourself. And I want to reiterate that. You have a right to stand up for yourself because you are beautiful. I know that I'm not perfect, but I know that I am beautiful because my God made me this way. It gets better. I hope that clarified a lot for you guys, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this. Thanks.